Hi, folks. Well, this build of a 1966 BRM P261 has been on hold for a while. I've been waiting for paint. There are some other things I need to do as well. The paint has arrived, but I've got to work on some construction and a few more ads, and I'm going to start on that this afternoon now. I probably won't get to putting on the rivets yet or the remainder of the rear suspension. But there is something that I thought would be kind of important if I can pull it off, and I'll show you what that is in a moment. So I've completed everything I want to do in the interior of the car from the cockpit going forward, but there would be something that would be pretty cool if I could pull it off, which would be to add an engine in the interior part of the engine block, and at least a portion of the cylinder heads, because they're actually molded into the back of the shell, the external portions that are showing. So I wanted to build an engine. I could have built it from scratch, but I thought I'd hunt around and see if I could find a small block V8 that would approximate what the BRM V8 looked like of that period. And I was coming up blank. My friend Kyle mentioned that he remembered that Matchbox made a kit of a 1973 or 74 Surtees F1 that was powered by the Ford Cosworth DFW, a 3-liter V8 with a 90-degree block, and took a look on ScaleMates and the instructions. Sure enough, small block V8. The Cosworth V8 looks fairly similar in construct to the BRM V8. Obviously, it's 50% bigger in displacement, but you shrink that down to 132, and sure, I can make adjustments. Now the question was, could I source a vintage Matchbox Surtees TSI6/03 kit? Well, yeah. The short answer is yes, I did. Kit arrived, and now it was time to build the engine and then see what sort of kit bashing I would need to do to make it fit in here and everything look compatible. So here's what I've put together with from the Matchbox kit. It's the Cosworth V8. The top is open for injection trumpets and all that, which will be superfluous. In my build, of course, the exhaust manifold will be coming out of there. I am going to have to trim down those cam covers. Besides that, they say Ford on them anyway. They won't be visible, but I've got to bring those down or replace those with plastic card. I've got to enlarge the openings on the transmission so it'll fit around the axle. And so now that I have assembled this, which wasn't easy, by the way, but I won't go into a rant about the Matchbox instructions, which are probably more a function of my inability to triangulate than anything else. Next step now is getting this chopped down a bit, because it is a little too wide and it won't lie in the engine compartment anyway because of the way the transmission is constructed. So time to start working with a X-Acto knife and a Dremel to get it at least carved down and then fitted into the rear compartment of my build. Okay, the dry fitting was successful. Boy, that was a lot of carving and sanding, and I certainly have reduced this from a 3-liter to maybe even a 1.5-liter. It's just tacked in there now, so that's why the front end is drooping, but I'll get it all fixed up in the final. But first we gotta get it primed and then painted, which will be the next step. Not a whole lot of difference here. I dry brushed the engine block and transmission with gunmetal paint and gives it a little bit of contrast. Of course, all of this will be covered up anyway, but I think this will do for the engine compartment. So time to put the body back on for one last check, which I'll do in just a moment. Okay, I'm going to call it an afternoon. I'll try and get some still photos in at the end sequentially. They may be out of order, but it should document what I was working on today, or most of it. Yeah, pretty pleased, and get it painted BRM green one of these days, plus all of those other bits and pieces to bring this build to a close. Thanks so much for watching, folks.